in heaven for me. I've never been one to walk the straight and narrow. I've caused despair to so many that I've known. But if you will, send a message to your angels and tell the folks that I won't be coming home. Oh dear Lord, please have mercy on this soldier. I'm just a man and I must pay for what I've done. But if you find it in your heart to please forgive me, I'll be so thankful just to be a chosen one. For a sinner am I, and if I must die, Lord, please have sympathy on me.
All right, man. All right, Jeff. Thanks.
20 more minutes. Yeah, we gotta go down here and see our folks, friends with the Haven.
Yeah, and I think Natalie's there. We can talk to her.
And District Girl for Alex selling raffles. You're out of raffles.
So, Natalie Kleiner, I've known you for a while. A lot of guys or people out here don't really know, or don't know your history. You're a clothing designer. You worked for pretty big companies. You also worked for Troy Lee Designs. A lot of people have heard of that. And now you have your own brand with our good friend Aaron. So I'm going to hand you the mic and you can kind of discuss with Jason how the Haven came about and all the other good stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, I have been working on clothing for several years. As Jeff mentioned, I've been working with Troy Lee Designs for a while. I did their motocross gear. That was a dream job, great job. My ultimate dream was to do my very own brand. And I got together with Aaron, actually at the Beach and Visionary Smoky Mountain Tour. Aaron and I first met there about, a year and a half ago. The first one. And you guys connected us, and Aaron and I sat down and started talking about clothing and riding and what you need to ride functionally, but also look good, you know. And I think we cheesed out for a solid 3 hours nonstop about what we love, what we could do, what we could put together as a brand, and that just ended up snowballing and really became reality. And now look at us, we're standing here today with a great big tent and a bunch of stuff under it. So.
Let's talk about some of the clothing you have here. I'm a pretty tactile person. So This is not just rebranded stuff. This is stuff that you guys started with a clean sheet of paper and you actually travel to garment factories to pick a fabric that does a job for what you're going to do. So these are really nice skull caps. Tell us about the line of hats and then we move on to some of the other stuff too. Because I want to hear about this real stop jacket. I love this thing. I want to get one of those.
Yeah, so even just like the beanies, for example, as you mentioned, the fabric is nice. We have, they're merino wool. So, you know, it's going to keep your head warm, but it's not going to hold in that moisture. So, yeah.
It's wicking too, right?
It's wicking, yeah. So it is just a beanie, but really it's not. It's serving a functional purpose. And that's really what we've tried to do with a lot of the clothing that we're putting out and making and developing. We're super nitpicky. from every seam line to the fabric, making sure it's not only looking good but functional.
Yeah, it has to hold up too because you ride in different environments, right? So you get up in the morning and it's cold, especially when you're in Tennessee. You get up in the morning, it's chilly, raining, and then by afternoon we're riding, it's 75 degrees, right? And you're riding. You can go around a curve sometimes when you're up in Tennessee and you can feel it go 20 degrees colder just in that curve. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you've got some of the other stuff here too that you guys have. Tell me about this ripstop jacket.
The ripstop jacket, I'm gonna let Aaron talk about that one, because that's kind of your baby, so I won't steal your thunder on that one. Not this time anyway.
Pass the mic, dog.
So, yeah, this ripstop jacket is a version of one of my dad's old hunting coats. Just perfect the pattern so it's more comfortable to ride in. Like all of our other stuff, I'm just some punk rock skateboard kid who likes to ride motorcycles, so I'm not that normal like the new motorcycle. So I wanted to pick items that can cross over. So you can use this one out for dinner for making your leaves, but it also has pockets in the armor so you can armor it up and go riding in it. But these are just everyday functional pieces that you can use for riding.
And there's been lots of, like, over the evolution of the motorcycle garment industry, there is this time where, there wasn't a lot of different synthetic fabrics around the market, so they mostly went to leather, right? And they would use like thicker leather or different kind of sewing, things that come apart, and then elements would kind of, create a separate problem, and they weren't always cut right.
Exactly.
So you were telling me once about finding what we consider like what your model would be, where you size something down from, right? So we have lots of different shapes and sizes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
how do you change? What kind of challenge is that when you've got a brand new brand?
It's tough. I mean, you've got a lot of brands like the normal American motorcycle brand has kind of always been oversized because, like, being on the inside of the industry, like I've been for a few years, it's like, well, bikers are just big guys.
Yeah,
So we have to have these big full cuts. Yeah, so like other brands that I've done stuff for, like their smalls or fit me like an extra large, it made no sense. So brands, you kind of have to when you're buying something from a brand, get to know who the owners are, get to know who the fit models are, because everything's sized off of that. So I size myself as a medium and scale up from there and scale down from there. Some brands will size an inch at a time. Some brands will size half an inch at a time. We kind of kept it to half an inch as a standard for a more modern fit. But yeah, the fabrics, I mean, we're using more Kevlar, Kevlar weave stuff, a really heavy denim that takes a good slide if you do go down. The ripstop material is like a no-brainer. It's a military ripstop, so if you do get a puncture, it's not going to shred off on you.
What is your biggest seller, biggest selling item this weekend?
I think our kind of little niche right now is everybody loves this moto jersey.
Dude, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, we get, especially for Florida traffic. I mean, you got these warm days, but you don't want to get sunburned. So you have something that's going to cover up your sleeves and still get a lot of air moving.
Get a little bit of UV protection.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got gloves.
Yeah, gloves is kind of a specialty for us. We have around 2,500 glove patterns. So a lot of other brands, the other part of our business is people coming to us to use our patterns, so we manufacture for another brand. So people come up to us for their gloves. But I would say that the next thing that people are digging is definitely this lady's jacket. We're getting a lot of input on that, so I'll let Natalie talk about that.
Yeah, that's kind of like, rather than just a conventional leather jacket, I'd say that's an unconventional leather jacket, right?
Right. So it serves a little bit of both. It is a classic pattern of the classic motorcycle style jacket. We made it in super duper heavy leather, so it's gonna really just last a really long time. I wanted this piece to be something that you can use riding on a motorcycle, but also not only get off of your bike, being able to cross country and put down serious miles, but be able to get off your bike, go into a restaurant, eat a steak dinner, like I like to eat my good foods, go inside and still look like you're put together semi-decent, you didn't just ride 650 miles and you're all haggard. This jacket, I wanted to be able to keep up with that, so we were using like super duper heavy leather, really heavy zippers, but then also just giving it like the really nice extra added seam lines on the back, where it's just giving a little bit of extra pocket style, where this is like really nice waist enhancing for us ladies, because let's be honest, whatever makes us look thinner is better. So, anyways. Yeah, classic photo jacket, just a few little twists, extra long zippers and seam lines and whatnot to give it a little extra pop, but still, you can ride hardcore in.
So where can we find you on Instagram? It's at the Haven, right?
Correct, we are on Instagram as @TheDehaven, and we also have our website, thedehaven.com, and all of our products are available there. And really, you know, we're kind of following the same suit here where you see it's kind of timeless pieces. You can use them riding, you can also use them in everyday wear. You can go out to eat in it, you can be working out in the woods if you want, you can then meet with your friends, go to a movie, family gatherings, or whatever. If you wanted to put something together that's like hardcore, functional, workwear, but also something you can wear across the board all day long.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, come back here to the Haven and check out some of their wares that I have. Get some gloves or one of those jerseys. Probably end up with one of those going on for this weekend.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So hey, can we walk over your booth and talk about carbon fiber and how you're the main player in this game now? How you're king and number one of carbon fiber, as I call it? I had to sneak swear word in there, which one? So I mean, you're very well known as a bike builder. You design some of the coolest bikes I have seen in recent times. Drag Specialties tasked you with building their drag cover bike this year.
Yeah.
And then you've come out with an immense amount of awesome carbon stuff. Why don't you, I'll give you the mic and you can kind of talk about your process. First of all, how it came to be, and then altogether what you're doing now and in the future.
So the biggest thing was we wanted to step outside and basically offer what wasn't out there. And that was what's fun for me is when I want something and it's not out there, we got to come up with how to do it. That's how most all of us do what we do. Is let's find what's out there and what's not out there and let's just do it. So it was a little bit of a task. I mean, it took us a few years to kind of get the ball rolling, going, moving. You know, coming up with the right process. I mean, it's like anything, you know, there's more ways than one to do something, and you got to figure out what works best for what you're doing in your application. So that's what we ran into, was just trying to get it the right application.
I think it really hit, I mean, you know, like you said, you were doing it for so long, getting the development correct, but I think, you know, timing is everything, and I think that, you know, you came into this game before a lot of other carbon people did, with the correct stuff, as we do. I mean, I literally, no joke, have tested every other brand's carbon fiber for 8 years now, since the Italians were making it, some guys here were making it, guys who were doing BMW, spoilers and things like that would always float me parts and no fit right.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing. I mean, it took us about 2 years to just develop what we were doing, what we were looking for, how to do it. And then it was a slow go, you know, getting started. I mean, you know, we were, you know, there was stuff out there for Dynas and FXRs and some Sportster stuff and things like that, but nothing for magnets, and that was the whole thing.
I think you really hit it at the same time that the performance backer thing was starting to take its next step. You know, there was always performance backers around, you know, guys with chips reports on their bikes, and you know, Ally Art built those, and Roland built some, and you built some throughout the years, and to see that kind of hit the new stride, and then your carbon stuff just at the same time. I mean, it was, timing is impeccable, and I have a full carbon kit that, you know, I have from you on a 2019 road glide, and it fit just as good as OE, and that is super hard.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing is, you know, when you work on motorcycle day to day, you know what works, what doesn't work, how what fits, how it's not going to fit, you know what people are going to expect. And, you know, I think anybody that actually is a motorcycle shop, and then they get into making parts, your first thing is making sure everything fits.
Time is money.
Time is money, and you don't want, you know, the phone calls, oh, this doesn't fit, this hole was wrong, or this wasn't here. you know, things like that, like, you know, we deal with that all the time.
Well,
And,
I think that somebody that doesn't have your exacting standards would let a lot more slide than you
Right.
do. And I mean, to be able to get the bag set, bag tops and garment bags, and pull all the stuff off your stock bags and put them all on your bags and have it be no issues, no fit issues. The
Right.
seals, the lid's closed, just like factory. You put a fender on it, it's not crooked. All the weave is perfectly good. Like, I can't say enough about the quality of your stuff you've been doing.
no, I really appreciate it. I mean, that's the thing, you know, for us, you know, we came out, I don't want to say early on, but we've been doing it for years now, and now, you know, all you need to do is you can keep progressing and progressing and progressing. We can add more parts, we can improve the quality of our parts and things like that, you know, to an extent, and, you know, that's where we're at with it. We're already now going back in, retooling our old stuff, even from like the stuff we sent you. Check this out. You know what your bags weigh.
Yes.
Maybe this is multi, but feel the difference right there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, I mean, it's just, you've always, when most people would be like, okay, that's good enough, I'll order 300 of those, you're like,
Yeah.
nope.
No, we just keep going. I mean,
Yeah.
if you just stop, then you stop.
Right.
So,
Let's talk a little bit about, sorry to cut you off, man. Let's talk a little bit about your blue bagger.
yeah.
For me, you know, I was privy. You sent me photos of this when it was unpainted, and I got to see it. You know, well, the bike for me, I'm kind of speechless because I was like, well, it's a bagger, pro street, digger, all rolled into one.
Right.
And you know, this, if you would have told me the sum of its parts over the phone, and I didn't see it, but I only heard it, I'd be like, you're dumb, that bike is dumb. And to see that bike all together, like, I just love it, man. The fit and finish is really cool. Like, it makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense as a piece of art, and you grind it out of it. So it's, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, if I'm not challenging myself, I'm just bored. So this was kind of one of those things of doing what we used to do, doing what we do today, but also throwing in some styles from the 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
90s. You know, paying homage to all the guys that have been doing this for 40, 50 years.
Sure.
You know, that style, that change, you know, and things like that. So it was really a challenge when you step outside the box. And that was the whole thing is just, I wanted to step so far outside the box that everybody's like, what the hell are you doing?
When I saw this bike completed with the paint, like everything just works.
Yeah.
You know, it's your wheels on it and everything. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we did our wheels, and we did our bags, our fenders, we made side covers for it. Our fat guy is a really kick-ass guy. You know, we made the gas tanks, we made the frame, utilized some of Trask's new parts. Just kind of went completely outside the box.
it's super cool, you know, Bob designs headlight and everything else, and everybody that hasn't seen this bike, definitely come over to Curtis's booth and check it out and put your hands on some beautiful carbon stuff. And as always, man, I love you, and you're so talented, man.
Thanks, man. I really
can't say
appreciate
enough.
it.
Thanks for doing what you do for the industry and everything.
Yeah, thanks for helping us out.
Thanks, Colin.
We got 5 minutes for the 50-50.
Oh, does everybody have their 50-50 raffle tickets yet? If you do not,
Those are the red tickets.
get over to stage right and get some. I could be totally wrong. So, I mean, look at these builders' bikes. Like, what I really dig about this show is there's super bare bone choppers, there's, baggers with all sorts of accoutrement on them, super wild paint jobs. I mean, like,
You can kind of see Corey Souza's sense of humor.
yes,
In his bike paint.
I love that thing, man.
Every time I walk by, I see something.
Yeah, I see something different as well.
And I giggle.
I love it.
We've got a lot of good builders too, good bikes from builders here that are maybe people we don't know who they are.
Yes.
There's a group of 3 here that these gentlemen here, I know these are built by Scott Henderson, a local guy. This You can definitely see the influence in that chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Then our buddy Ray, Copper Top Garage.
Yes. I love that bike,
It's
man.
a Cycle Source magazine cover bike.
Yes.
And I believe he did real well with that orange true grip.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
It's so cool looking, man. You know, swing arm shovel like that is, you know, you can do them up 1,000 different ways.
You can do them wrong too, and this one's not.
Oh, definitely.
And everything else.
I can see that there's probably a little bit of Japanese influence in there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the Bunais, you know, there was years where there was just crazy swing arm shovels with tiny little tanks and chopped up tanks. And, you know, it was super cool to see. And to see something like this is really, really cool.
Special little parts kind of buried behind other parts and stuff so that you can see that they went all the way from the inside out. Everything that is done right.
Oh, I love it, man.
We got about 2 more minutes on the 50-50.
Somebody's gonna come up on some dough.
Somebody's gonna get some cash. Hold up.
I love it.
Money's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rhythm's pressure. What are we up to now? Oh, I see a bunch of greenbacks out on the table.
Some dough. I like that. Somebody's gonna come up on that dough. All right, sir. Good to see you. Oh man, Santa left the elf with me. He's right there.
Santa will be back later, right?
Yep. And we'll be back with more raffle prizes as well. I want to do a green or a blue ticket.
Blue ticket. What do you think?
All right. What do you think?
Let's see.
What do you think?
How about, hey, the Arlen Nest Motorcycle Company sent us 4 copies of the hardbound Arlen Nest King of Choppers bike book, rather. And what's important about this is we launched Arlen Nest almost 2 years ago.
Yes.
And he was arguably the godfather of the custom motorcycle industry.
I do believe he
Yes.
is.
Let's give away one of these books.
Yes, sir. Somebody's gonna be lucky. Those books are really good.
Can we spin that wheel around and get a blue ticket out for somebody to win an Arlen Nest book?
Yes, we can. Power spinning. Your hand in there, grab one.
Just reach around. Can we give away one of the blue tickets? All right.
Perfecto. All right. We're gonna spin it, spin it, spin it. Blue ticket.
I know. Did you do it?
There we